And then up the hill to the very infamous corkscrew corner is, I mean, what a corner to take in any car, let alone an open wheeler like this. And the AI, look at this, he comes back at me, and P2 overtakes me in the corkscrew. We try and have a look around the outside, but then he forces me wide, and then again cuts across. This AI is so aggressive. Great racing from him today through that section of the circuit, side by side to the final corner. So recently in Gran Turismo 7, I took this Super Formula Car around Laguna Seca for the very first time, and wow, oh wow, what a load of fun that circuit is in an open race wheel car. And before we get into some racing, just appreciate how pretty a lap looks around here in this game. There it is, and what a lap and spectacle that is. I really think this game looks so amazingly pretty and very, I feel like, true to life with the ray tracing enabled in the replays. You know, I just keep on going back to this car and just enjoying it around these different circuits. Of course, I have rarely driven Laguna Seca in any kind of way, in any car, let alone an open wheel car like this, which, as I likened to last time we tried it out in my first video with this car in this game, in terms of handling, very, easy to take to if you've played F1 games, and I felt, very at home with it. A lot of the brake zones I feel would be, intuitively the same brake zones I'd be taking in a Formula 1 car. So the performance of this thing was really impressive, and I was curious to see what it would be like up against other open wheel cars or Formula cars of that nature, and not just a single class race. So we've got a race around Laguna Seca now coming up, 5 laps against the Red Bull X Vision cars that were designed by Red Bull and GT quite some time ago, actually, way back on like GT6, wasn't it? The first time I think we saw them, and then redone in 2019. And then also the F1500TA, which is another kind of Vision Gran Turismo car, but open wheel, kind of looks like an old school, old F1 car. But here we go then, as we're underway for 5 laps around Laguna Seca, and stick around for the whole thing, because towards the end, there's some really good racing. I was surprised by how good the AI were, like the top ones that were giving me a fight trying to get to the first place and through to the podium. But at the moment, just trying to find the space, a bit wary of how tight this circuit is. Over 1 lap just by yourself, it's a very flowing circuit, but then a lot like France, I guess, Jeddah in real life, those kind of tracks where it's flowing and fast but so tight and narrow in the race, it's maybe a difficult affair to keep it side by side. But making good progress up into P11, cutting through a lot of these cars. And I don't know what it is, obviously you guys have got to understand that I'm such a noob when it comes to Gran Turismo, so I have no clue if historically the AI are meant to be difficult or easy or whatever, but I don't know. And I don't know where the Super Formula car stacks up. According to the PP level of the game, the Super Formula is pretty close to this F1 500 TA car and this Red Bull Vision car as well, quite similar PP. So I was, curious though, because I thought surely the Red Bull was going to be so much quicker, just because, it just looks like a meaner car. It's one of those fantasy cars. I thought it was going to be super lightweight and, mince us. But in terms of the actual weight stats as well, very similar actually to this real life Super Formula car. Obviously they drive in Japan, and even Formula 1 driver Pierre Gasly was known for losing a championship, having gone to, what was it, Suzuka, and he lost it because it was a washout race, and he missed an F1 race for it. So, compared to a real-life Super Formula car, I thought these cars would have been actually quicker, being a Vision car, but no, they were actually very, well, similar, and I was actually cutting through the field pretty nicely. As we're now up into P5, and the remaining 4 cars ahead of us are all Super Formula cars in this same Aston Martin F1 2022 livery. So now we get our head down and try and chase after them. I actually changed to the hood cam, which is as close as you're going to get to a T cam whilst you're racing. You can get that T cam in the replays for some reason, but you can't get that same T cam whilst you're racing. But anyway, with this funny hood cam, which is on the halo pretty much, we get through up into P4, really exploring the limits of the circuit, and I was finding more and more confidence in it. It was so fun being able to just put the power down and realise that, oh, the car does have the downforce to make that corner. In some cases, getting it wrong, just like there, but then chucking it in 4th gear, and then up the hill to the very infamous corkscrew corner is, I mean, what a corner to take in any car, let alone an open wheeler like this. And the AI, look at this, he comes back at me, and P2 re-overtakes me in the corkscrew. We try and have a look around the outside, but then he forces me wide, and then again cuts across. This AI is so aggressive. Great racing from him today through that section of the circuit, side by side to the final corner, and we have to go for this switch, but it doesn't really work as he gets a better exit, so we have to continue on and fight for another lap to try and get P2. We get the run though, he's a bit slow, and we're around the outside, and we're going to make sure we nail turn 1 as late as we can on the brakes, and we're way ahead then, and we can now ease in and try and chase after P1 on the second last lap of this race. Can we get him before the last lap and then try and go for a quick banzai lap, as we get a bit too overconfident there. I was looking too much at where he was, and that blindsided me, and no redos. We have to go wide and then recompose and go again and chase after him. It takes us till the last lap through the corkscrew, flat out there, having a look on the outside, and this guy also defending really hard there as we go side by side, and he goes so wide that he tries to squeeze me off circuit. We dive down the inside, we repay the favour of making contact with him here. So the first 2 AI here, in P1 and 2, the American here, are really, really aggressive, and so if the AI could be more like these 2 AI, it'd be such a more challenging race, I feel. I know Gran Turismo, a large part of it, especially with GT Sport, was the online plays, make easy work of him now in turn 2. I know a large part of the game in GT Sport was all about the online play, but obviously old Gran Turismos were all about the single player, and there can be challenging races in the campaign, in the cafe missions, but when you do an arcade race, I don't know, there's something a little bit missing with the AI, I feel, in the arcade racing versus the cafe campaign races and the missions and whatnot. They're a little bit easier than we find in the actual proper single player experience of Gran Turismo, rather than just the arcade races. I don't know if that's made on purpose or what, but nonetheless though, those 2 AI there making it a lot of fun towards the end, making it a challenge here at Laguna Seca. And like I said, overall, just a real joy to drive this circuit in an open real race car on GT7. Guys, if you have any recommendations of what track combos with other cars I should be using, then let me know in the comments below. If you want to see some online content maybe with these cars, then let me know. I could try and sort out maybe an open lobby sometime. I could tweet out, and you guys who have the Super Formula car as well could maybe try and join. We get some awesome racing, and the closest thing we're going to get to F1 racing, I guess, on GT7. So let me know if that's something that would be an interest, and I can see what I can do about, trying to organise that on Twitter, for example. But if you have enjoyed this one, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for some more GT7 content being sprinkled through on my channel. Obviously, primarily F1, but you guys have been enjoying the GT content so far, which I appreciate. So, till the next one, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.